Good morning, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Hi5 series by the DH podcast. Today is September 9th. Before we get started, we dropped our new episode on Labor Day around midday, so please take some time. We're currently figuring out what day is best to drop. We like Mondays. That gives us, especially during football season, that gives us a chance to recap that happened over the season. Mondays are a great drop for football season, so we may change it up depending upon the time of the year, but at the moment, Mondays are a perfect drop day. So, first and foremost, the Heat closed the door on the Bucks. Game 5, 4-1, gentleman's sweep. Let's see here. My tone is a little off, so I want to make sure that my feelers are right. Okay. There we go. He closed the door. 4-1. Gentleman's sweep. Jimmy Butler's on another level. They pulled Giannis because they knew they were not going to win this series. Without him, they barely squeaked by, and that was difficult. They won by 3 points. Whereas now, Heat, again, took command, and they did what they needed to do. So that's one thing that you need to really watch out for, because everybody expected Bucks Raptors Eastern Conference Finals, but not happening. So you're going to get Heat, by the way, which is the first 5 seed to upset a 1 seed ever in the NBA playoffs. We have a couple different notes of history here. Number 2, 162 playoff wins for Bron. Record. No player in NBA history has reached that. I believe LeBron has not made the playoffs only twice in his career. His first one with LA, and I thought his second one with Cleveland. Because the first one, he took them to the NBA Finals with, like, Delonte West, Ilgauskas. That might have been a Mike Miller year, too. Regardless, the amount of times he's been in the league, the amount of times he's made the playoffs, the amount of times he's made the finals, and the amount of times he's won the finals, that if they go to the finals this year, we'll see him hit 170. And he's not done. He's just not. So you will continue to see this grow for another year. I don't think he'll hit 200. But now we're getting into ridiculous range, to where if he is now the sole number 1 leader in the clubhouse for playoff wins in NBA history, that gap is just going to widen. Because nowadays there's so much parity in the NBA that it's difficult to bring somebody else in order to ensure that you can have a continued playoff run. Because a lot of these guys, if they're not immediately making the conference finals, or they're not immediately making the finals, then they consider it a bust and they want to start over, which is patently ridiculous. And teams should be allowed, or teams should be mentally prepared for a long and grueling drive. I mean, take a look at the Raptors, chipping away. And even now, they're still alive. So they have got Game 6 today versus Boston. Boston's up 3-2. Boston could close the door, but we can just as easily have a Game 7. As a Celtics fan, I'm clearly a little biased. I would not like a Game 7, but it's definitely there. The Raptors have been playing extremely fundamental basketball, and especially if they can work from behind the arc, which is what really hurt them 2 days ago when the Celtics won Game 5, that if they can actually get work going from behind the arc, then they have a chance to beat anybody. Raptors are an incredibly well-rounded team. All right. Number 2, Von Miller most likely out for the season. This sucks. Something happened with a tendon in his ankle during practice that will require surgery. So this is most likely season ending for Von Miller. Going to hurt the Broncos. It's going to hurt the defense that really needs to come together this season, because they have an offense that they need to give some cushion to. You have a newer quarterback, but you have experienced weapons. Cortland Sutton, Phillip Lindsay. You've got guys that are ready to help Drew Lock out. But of course, there are 2 sides to the ball. So if they were to have a more experienced vet in Von Miller, they would be a little more trusting of the defense. This is a team that is going to need both sides of the ball to see success in order to make the playoffs this season, especially with Drew Lock stepping into these shoes. A lot of people are very confident in Drew Lock. I have no reason to not be confident in Drew Lock whatsoever. Number 3, DeAndre Hopkins is now officially the highest paid non-quarterback in NFL history. It's pretty incredible. 2 years, $54 million total, but $42 guaranteed. So looking at it, and at the moment, only $42 guaranteed. And a couple things. One, this is his first season with Arizona. So they really reworked his contract, and they allowed it time. But what I take this to another level is that he did the negotiations himself. He wanted to be a part of it. He wanted to be in the driver's seat. He wasn't using a team. He used himself. That, to me, is so impressive. And as a team, I take that as this guy cares about his own stock, which means by proxy, he's going to be caring about the outcome of this team, and he's going to be constantly working his ass off. It's exactly what people should be thinking. That, okay, well, you know what? DeAndre hasn't been on this team. He hasn't played a snap for this team. Him and Kyler don't know each other on the field. But we need to be confident because Hopkins is a veteran. I mean, at certain points, I consider, if you've been in the league at least 5 years, you're a veteran. And because a lot of the guys, especially if you're down in the trenches, you're not making 5 seasons because your body's just constantly getting beat and beat and beat and beat. Same with the running backs. An organization is going to run a running back straight into the ground because they know they can just draft one, and they don't want to pay a running back because unless somebody's a Barkley, a Zeke, or a McCaffrey, it's going to be really tough to pay. I know that the Browns just re-signed Kareem Hunt, but it wasn't nearly McCaffrey money. It wasn't nearly what Barkley's going to be getting. So these are things to take stock of because when you're watching the games, you're going to be like, wow, these guys seem to really have a lot of chemistry for never playing together. And that's because this guy clearly shows dedication and posture on and off the field. So watch out for Arizona. Do I have 5? Yeah, okay. All right. Number 4, Billy Donovan with the Thunder out. He did not get fired. Both sides decided that they did not want to renew the contract. They did not pursue contract renewing negotiations. And that's okay. That happens. But now we have to work towards this is good for Billy Donovan, but because he was not fired, they just parted ways peacefully. But as a Thunder, where do you go now? The list of options is long, as we saw by everybody complaining about Steve Nash. Everybody was complaining that Steve Nash was the wrong hire. And of course, hiring a player is not only what's it called? Hiring a player is not unprecedented. I'm really blanking on a word here, guys. Not that it's never been done. Unproven? Is that what we want to go with? Hiring a coach is unproven. But, oh my God, I hate this fucking light so much. Hiring a coach is unproven. That was a former player, but it's been done. We've seen success. I'm saying, based on what we've seen, hiring a player is a complete roll of the dice. I don't think that Derek Fisher was nearly as big of a failure as other people do. It definitely wasn't great by any stretch of the means. Magic Johnson was poor. Steve Kerr was great. Also, Steve Kerr was given some of the best GM work in a very long time. That definitely helped. All right. There we go. He's back. So then besides that, what we want to look towards is where Billy Donovan can go. Because the list of options are out there. You want to look at some lower market teams similar to OKC to where they can bring talent, but they don't have any yet. You still have spaces available to you. Maybe he's trying to go for the Sixers job. I don't know what would be available to him. I think that one could work. Depends. he has that old Horford connection, that old Florida connection. We don't know. So really focus in on what'll be happening with Billy Donovan going into next season, because I think that he'll be able to have a job by next season too. I don't think that'll be a stretch at all. He's pretty respected in the community. He's done okay work with Oklahoma City, but when you think about what he's done, especially last season with Chris Paul, and also don't expect Chris Paul to stay around either. From the Thunder, he's out. He is out. You can win, but you can't win in the playoffs with Chris Paul. You can't get to the conference finals. You can't get to the finals. So yes, can you get the wins in the regular season? Of course. Is Chris Paul a Hall of Famer? Of course. He cannot drag your team alone to the conference finals. Not many players can. I don't think that's a knock. I think that that's just a fact. When you look at him, is he going to always put up points? Yes. Is he going to be motivated? Yes. Is he going to most likely kick somebody in the nuts? Hell yes. At the same point in time, he will not be able to pick your team up, just boop, drop them right in the conference finals. Not able to happen. Very few players can do that. I mean, we saw that with Kawhi. We saw that with LeBron. But again, these are few and far between. I mean, the Rockets are now down 2-1 to the Lakers in the semifinals. So does that mean that neither of those players can get there if they lose the series? I don't think so. I think that just means that they're losing to a better team, which means that now the Rockets will have to reassess and add somebody. Are they going to have to go big? Yeah. Can they trade Ibaka and move him for somebody? Yeah. I like Ibaka a lot. I don't know exactly what... Why am I saying Ibaka? That's not who I meant at all. I never even tried to say... I gotta look it up, guys. I'm sorry. I didn't mean Serge Ibaka at all. I can't believe I was talking. I looked up Rockets by center, and PJ Tucker is listed as a center. That's disgusting. And now you see articles: the Houston Rockets are thriving after ditching the center position. Huh. It's cute. Nope. None of these guys are who I am thinking of. And nope. That's your Rockets roster, and he's not on it. I have no idea who I'm talking about. I could picture his face. I could draw it in a police sketch, but apparently I do not know his name. So, sorry, folks. Number 5, to round it out, the NFL conducted over 8,300 COVID-19 cases between August 30th, September 5th. We were able to get results back. Saw 1 positive player, 7 positive personnel. Now, the number of personnel outnumber the players about 2.5 to 1. So they have over 7,000, and the players, I think, only have, 1,500, 1,800, somewhere in that ballpark. So that's one thing that's really important, especially I'm not worried at all before we start traveling. I'm worried once we start traveling. Because even though these teams are going to be taking personal planes, those airports are not personal. Most of those airports will make accommodations for them. These guys are going to be with us plebeians and us lemmings. So you can't. It's impossible. Or just like guys try to sneak in women dressed as Seahawks players. Not going to work. It's going to get you cut from the squad real freaking quick. All right. So keep an eye out for tests, because you only hear about them, by the way, if they're bad. The media will show you them if they're terrible. So if you get a breakout of 5 or 6 players on one team, you're sure as hell going to hear about it. But if you have one player across the league, you will not hear about it. That wasn't on the front page of ESPN. That wasn't on the second page of ESPN. Wasn't on the first page of the NFL. You have to go and find this stuff. You really do. That's just the type of world we live in. Go and find it if you want it. It's out there. It's readily available. Just go search for it. For those of you that don't follow us on social media, we're on We are at DH_podcast on Twitter and Instagram. If you follow us, you know that we, 2 days ago, we bought a Survivor team for our listeners and anybody, frankly, who wants to vote on social media. So at our Twitter, you can see which teams we're asking people to vote for. We've given people 4 different options. That's what we're going to do every last single week until we get so good that we no longer have 4 teams to choose from. So we're going to go down to 3 teams to choose from. Simple as that. We're super excited about this. We love Survivor pools. It's a weird mental game where it shouldn't be in your head as it is, but it is. And so we kick off on Thursday. Football is back. Chiefs, Texans. There will not be a ring ceremony for the Chiefs because they've already had a separate ring ceremony. So that will not be a part of tomorrow's festivities. But regardless, be excited. Football is back. This is incredible, people. We deserve this. We deserve this. All right, everybody. This has been September 9th, the Hi5 series for the DH podcast. My name is Nick, and we will catch you all later. Peace.